Hello everyone, a very warm welcome. Today we embark on exploration of Shakespeare's sonnet number 73. The poet masterfully weaves a tapestry of imagery using the changing seasons as a metaphor for the inevitable passage of time. So let's dive in. Let's begin with the introduction. In Sonnet 73, Shakespeare beautifully captures the inevitability of aging and the fleeting nature of life. The imagery of changing seasons and enduring strength of love adds depth to this profound reflection. Let's dive in. Let's begin with the first quatrain. That time of the year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon these boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined course where late the sweet birds sang. Let's begin the line number one. Let me change the color of the line. Yeah. So that time of the year thou mayst in me behold. Imagine the poet as a season entering the autumn of life. That time of the year signifies a phase of change, marking the beginning of our journey through the metaphorical seasons. Line number two. When yellow leaves or none or few do hang. See the visual? It's like looking at a tree losing its leaf, some yellow, some gone. This symbolizes the poet's aging, the leaves mirroring the passing moments of life. Number three, upon these boughs which shake against the cold. Feel the chill in the air? Do you? The branches shivering against the cold represent the poet's vulnerability to the inevitable, the harsh realities of the life. Bare ruined courts where late the birds sang. Picture this. Once vibrant places like the course. Course is a place where the musicians generally perform. So once the vibrant places now resembling ruined churches where birds representing joy and vitality used to sing. It's a poetic elegy for the passage of time. In all, speaker uses metaphor of autumn to describe his aging in the first quatrain. He feels like a tree with a few or no leaves left, bare branches trembling in the cold. This represents the decline of his youth and the beauty. We come up to the second quatrain now. In me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away death's second self that seals up all in rest. Line number 5. In me thou seest the twilight of such day. In line number 5, can you see the fading light? The poet compares himself to the twilight of a day, suggesting the approaching end, a metaphorical sunset in his life. As after sunset fadeth in the west. It's like witnessing the fading light after the sun sets in the west. A beautiful yet melancholic portrayal of life's twilight, which by and by black night doth take away. And here comes the night, not just any night, but a black night, signaling the inevitable darkness of the life's end, that is the death. Death's second self that seals up all in the rest. Death is poetically portrayed as a second self. This is very important. So death here is basically portrayed as the second self. Death is portrayed as the second self, bringing a final and peaceful rest. It's a profound reflection on the mortality. He shifts to the metaphor of twilight, comparing himself to the fading light of the day. Just as sunset gives way to darkness, his vitality is waning. That means it's decreasing in the strength, leading towards the black night of death, the ultimate sleep. Come to the third quadrant. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, consumed with what it was nourished by. A very beautiful line. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire. Now shift your focus to fire, a metaphor for the poet's past vitality. Glowing here refers to a faint yet enduring ember that on the ashes of his youth doth lie. Feel the metaphorical weight? The fire now rests on the ashes of its youth, symbolizing the poet's aging and the memories that linger, that means that exist and stay forever. Line number 11, 10, and line number 11, we are moving on. As the deathbed wear on, it must expire. Extend your imagination to a deathbed, where the fire must eventually extinguish. It's a vivid portrayal of life's ephemerality. Consumed with what? Sorry, consumed with that which it was nourished by. And here's the twist: the fire consumes itself with what once fueled it. A profound reflection on the cycle of life and its inevitable end. In all, in the third quadrant, we see the final metaphor of dying fire is shown. His remaining passion and energy burn with ashes of his youth, consuming itself like a body of a deathbed. He acknowledges the irony that it burns brightest because of what it is losing. Now we arrive to the final couplet. This thou perceived, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long. Line number 13. This thou perceived, which makes thy love more strong. Pause and reflect. The reader perceives this cycle, and this is the realization: love grows stronger. It's a poignant connection between mortality and the enduring love. Line number 14. To love that well which thou must live ere long. And here we land, the crescendo, the peak, the topmost. To love deeply that which must soon be felt. It's a timeless and universal sentiment, beautifully encapsulated in the sonnet. To sum up, while he recognizes his physical decline, he finds solace in the strength of his beloved's love. He knows, he sees, he witnesses that his body is decaying with time, but still he finds his strength in the beloved's love. Knowing he must soon leave, the object of their affection appreciates him even more, cherishing what remains, that is, his love or his verses. Let's see the poetic devices. We'll have a quick glance of it. Symbolism: bare branches, once vibrant with leaves and song, becomes symbols of lost youth and diminished energy. Metaphor: death as second self is shown. Personification: night is personified as death's second self, definitely. Imagery: the vivid imagery of yellow leaves, ruined courts, and the metaphorical description of the twilight of such a day. Now we arrive at the themes and motives. We'll just have a quick glance. Aging and mortality, metaphor of the fire, beauty in decline we have seen, and appreciation of the present, as well as love and acceptance. Just go through this text to have a glimpse overview. We have seen the existence of all these themes and motives throughout the sonnet. Let's dive into the conclusion. Sonnet 3 is a poignant meditation on aging and mortality. The speaker uses vivid metaphors to portray himself as a fading autumn, dying light, and decaying fire. So these are the metaphors the poet uses for himself to show the impact of time on his life and on his body. However, instead of despair, he finds comfort in the enduring love of his companion, who is or who values him more deeply in the face of inevitable departure. I hope you have understood it well. So here we come. Thank you for joining me. This was Amarnath Tiwari from the Lifelong Student, trying to help you understand the sonnet better. If you liked that video, if it helped you anyway, do subscribe it and see you next time. Until then, keep learning. Goodbye.